Hey guys, Bill here, Mr. Power Washing, working on my 2025 enclosed pressure washing trailer rebuild, first build for the enclosed, but going through everything. Quick tip for you here, on your soft wash side, anywhere where you're doing low pressure, so that would be, at what I'd consider about 300 PSI, down to about 100. Not so much on the 12 volt side, 24 volt. I would anything where you're dealing with 100 psi and up. So that 24 volt pump there is about 100 psi. I do it just because of the fact. But this Comet P40 puts out up to 300 psi. So anywhere on the pressure side, some people run 2 hose clamps, or if you just run one and you suddenly have a leak and you throw a second one on there. This is something that I do that really helps these worm drive clamps. Is I double them. And when I double them, I move them a little bit. On a worm drive clamp, your typical worm drive clamp, and do not use the ones from Harbor Freight that come in the little plastic case. I don't think I have any, but they come in a case like this plastic case with the little dividers in it. Don't use those on anything except 1/4 inch line. I hate those. The little rail here that the screw grips will strip out once you start tightening them. Get a good quality stainless steel clamp. This brand's really good. Ideal Tridon. I buy these at automotive swap meets all the time. A whole different assortment of sizes. When you get to bigger hose, like 1 inch and up, you can get these T-bar clamps that work really good. And they're this outer rail slides inside this one here, and it's actually pulled tight. It pulls the rail over this sheath here, and it's just a consistent band all the way around. On your typical worm drive clamp, well, there it is. Ha. Okay, your typical worm drive clamp, you can see it's got a flat spot here, and what happens is as you tighten this down, you can see some of these ones I have get a little deformed. If you over tighten them, and that's because of the fact you should use a clamp size that's close to your hose. You don't want to use one that'll fit a 2 inch hose on a 1 inch hose. But when you tighten them down, this spot here, it's not contoured perfectly to what you're tightening around. So what I do is I rotate them about 180 degrees. And in this instance, I do flip them. So from this way and then this way. If you're somewhere where you have a large, like if it was on the outside here, you could put 2 facing the same way, because you could turn them, and do this with one hand, and you can get to it easily from this side and from this side. But in instances like this, where I've got a motor here, I can't get this side, I want them both facing here, I just flip the orientation. And that's also where getting good quality hose barbs comes into play. So this is a banjo barb. And you can see here we've got the first lip, and then this one valley, and then a second lip and another valley. When you start getting to the cheaper brand polypropylene fittings, and they just have these 3 little bars, that's okay for 1/4 inch. That's okay for 50 PSI. It's okay for anything that requires a vacuum fitting. But when you're dealing with a pressure side, this really comes into play, because as you can see here, you can see my hose is actually bulged out here. That's not the bulge, the hose bulging. That's the bulge of this barb. So you never want to over tighten a worm drive clamp to where you start getting rubber coming out through these little rails here, the slots. Usually you can do that and you'll know, okay, now it's tight, but not always. If it's on something like this, and you get one of them flat spots, stuff can still seep through. And I have this clamp to prove it, because this used to be on the bottom, and I only had 1 clamp, and that's what happened. That's a lot of times why it leaks. So if you put 2 clamps on, rotate them just a little bit, you get a really, you can see here where those clamps are located. If I do this. And it's at the lowest spot, so that's a really, really good seal. That's never gonna leak. So just a little tip, how to position your hose clamps. Quality clamps, quality hose barbs help, and then just offset them just a little bit. If you have larger diameter hoses, you can use those T-bar clamps, and just one of those is sufficient because it's just such a good seal all the way around. But that's it. Wash on, everybody.